Okay, so we've introduced this idea that all of us have felt time-starved, but what do we do with it? But just know that as a manager, there is a villain in this story. There is a villain that if we are not aware of the villain and we don't battle against this villain, then it can end up dominating us. And the end result will be us feeling time-starved. And the end result will be the implications of us operating over long periods of time from a time-starved posture. And it's not positive. It's not a great impact on teams. It's not a great impact on business. So who is this villain? This villain is what I call the tyranny of the urgent. It's the tyrant of the urgent. It's the fact that a lot of times we operate under the domination of all the urgent things that are going on around us. And the urgent things can come from people or places outside of us, or it could be our own creation that we create by the lack of systems and the lack of discipline and rigor and tools and best practices that we have, that we operate within as a manager within our own management system. But that villain is there. It's the villain of the tyranny of the urgent, the domination of the urgent, and how that impacts my day. And so what I want to do is give you a tool that will expose this villain in our story as a manager. Expose the villain so that you have visibility into where your work is going and the type of work that you're doing, so that you can then drive from an intentional posture, action, that will allow you to make sure you get the important things done that you need to get done before the important things become urgent, or before you run out of time and you feel like you need more time to be able to get the important things done and your team is impacted as a result. So let's dive into this tool, the Tyranny of the Urgent Matrix, where we unlock a way that you can drive visibility, then ultimately drive action to help you defeat this villain, the Tyranny of the Urgent. Okay, now that we have talked about the villain for us as managers, as organizational leaders, and that villain is the tyranny of the urgent, I wanted to walk you through a model, a framework, a tool that you can use to help you think about and visualize how you can focus on what is important, and you can start to battle against the tyranny of the urgent that all of us feel as managers, and ultimately impacts our ability to feel like we can be successful and can at times make us feel like we are time starved. So I want to introduce you to a tool called the Tyranny of the Urgent Matrix, and I want to walk you through this and then talk about how you can practically use this every week, every day if needed, to be able to make sure that you're able to give time and focus on what's important. And so you can see here in this matrix there are 4 quadrants, and they are all geared towards whether the task that you are working on is important and whether it is urgent, and then what action should you drive as a result of what may end up in that bucket. And so you can see here the first bucket is the important and the urgent, the tasks that are important and they're urgent, and they're things that you need to manage and you need to focus on now. So they could be things like deadlines that you have that you need to focus on. It could be a real emergency or an escalation that you may have, or something that is important and urgent that you know you need to focus on now and get it done. And so when you use this tool, you would identify which tasks are you doing now, or which tasks will you do today or in the next few days that need to be in this category so you can visualize it. The second is the area of the important and the not urgent. And these are the things that you know that you need to do, but you may not be feeling the urgency to do it today, but they are important for you to get done. And if you don't give attention to these, and if you don't get them done, they can quickly become urgent. And so you want to get out in front of this, and you want to make sure that you're driving the action that you need to drive to make sure that you get the important tasks done that may not be urgent today, that could be urgent in the future. Remember back to our illustration around exercising. Exercising may not be urgent today, but at some point in my life, my health could become urgent because of decisions I'm making today to neglect the important. And so you don't want to do that as a manager. You want to have clarity on what is important that may not be urgent today that I need to focus on to make sure that I drive action in. The third would be the category of urgent tasks that are not just important. They're just not important to do. They could be meetings or other things that you have on your calendar or you have in your to-do list that they really don't have a lot of importance, but they're urgent. And so here you want to exercise caution, and you want to make sure that you're not being consumed and dominated by these activities to where you find out at the end of the day, at the end of the week, when you're looking back, that you spent a lot of your time working on the urgent tasks that really weren't that important. And so you want to exercise caution there. And the last one would be the tasks that are not important and not urgent. And if you have any tasks in this bucket here, you want to avoid those, or you want to delegate them to someone where it is important for them to work on it, but it's not, maybe not be important to you. And so you want to avoid tasks like this. And so in this tool, there's a template that you can use every day, every week, whatever frequency makes sense for you to capture the tasks that you have, that you're responsible for, and where do they fit inside this matrix so that you can visualize the work that you're doing so that you can drive the appropriate action. You can determine, where do I need to manage? Where do I need to focus? Where do I need to exercise caution to make sure I'm not being dominated by those types of tasks? And where do I need to avoid things that I may be being asked to do that are just not important and they're not urgent? So that ultimately you would be able to make sure that you get the important, not urgent work done, and you're able to focus your attention on the important tasks, whether they're urgent or not urgent. And so you can use this tool to help you write down in these templates here. You can write down the important and the urgent tasks, or all the tasks that you have, and then bucket them into which category that you think they fall in to help you more effectively attack your day to where you work smart and not just work hard.